Welcome to a little bonus replacement sort of video. The original video that was scheduled for today was a exploration of the Eternal format ban list, but I am feeling under the weather, so I need something easy that I want to put out, and I need to open this booster box I got of Twilight Masquerade anyway, so I figured I would open this on camera, let you guys see what I get, and I will postpone the video that was going to be for today till next week. So we'll still get that look at some of the cards on the Eternal format ban list and why they're banned, but it's going to be next week instead of this week. I am currently in the middle of a cold situation. Speaking of which, so my voice is still a little raspy. If you watch my Poke Beach podcast yesterday, you'll notice I was not feeling so great either. Yeah. Anyway, that's all we're going to talk about that. Let's open some Twilight Masquerade. Let's see what we get. This is judge compensation for running my pre-releases at my local game store. So that is how I got hold of this box. Pokemon does not love me enough to give me free products. I'm sorry to say. So I do not have that privilege. If Pokemon ever changes their mind, I will let you guys know. I will inform you where I get the product. But in this case, this is just compensation for running an event. Or running several events, actually. With that said, we have a full booster box to look at. There'll be 36 packs here. All of the cards that I'm really hoping to get from this set are on the side of the screen in that little carousel where we normally have the featured cards for a deck list. You keep an eye on that while it's going. Yeah, 36 packs. Let's get cracking. Let's see what we get. You can see Carmine. This set is weird because like it's got a decent number of playable cards, but in terms of chase cards, it seems kind of low. Let's see, crack. Yes, I do. And I will be saving these codes for League at Home, so if you do want to grab some codes from me, definitely get them from that. All right, so we're gonna start sorting as we go, so I have less work to do later. But yeah, this set is, like I said, it's interesting in that it's kind of a good set for players, but it's also interesting in that it's kind of a weird one for collectors or for anyone just that wants to have some cool looking cards. I've also just realized I have not sleeve a hollow. Yeah, but hopefully we get some cool stuff in here. I'm very much hoping to get Carmine. Just a beautiful card, and I just like cards with very nice art, and she has very nice art. So the Greninja also has got some really good art. I would like to have that too. Double Tessagiddy in this one. Got a Abra Reverse and a Walking Wake. So far, no hits, but I mean, we're only 2 packs in, so nothing crazy. Talked about this a bit on the Poke Beach podcast, but I'm curious to see how my audience specifically feels about GameStop starting to sell hollows at their stores. So GameStop, if you haven't heard, is planning to start selling singles at their stores. They're going to be selling holographic cards specifically, so hollows and reverse hollows. Yeah. My opinion on the Poke Beach podcast was that GameStop will definitely screw it up somehow. So the rumor, at least, or the current, by the way, good hit, not a great one, but it is a hit. Current knowledge that we have, maybe this could be wrong or it could be changing, is that they're just going to sell hollows and non-hollow, or hollows and reverse hollows for $1. Of course, that ignores like value cards might have, so I can't imagine GameStop is just going to give up all that extra value on some cards that are worth more. But it is in their MO to overcharge for stuff, so $1 makes sense because most of these hollows are probably not worth more than about, I don't know, 15-20 cents. But I don't know. I feel like GameStop is not the place. So we have Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory going to be a mainstay in Gardevoir going forward. So if you feel like playing Gardevoir, it won't have a good Minister, but it isn't a bad deck necessarily. It's just a smaller deck. We did get a Sinistra. Oh, this is the illustration rare too. I just clicked this as the illustration rare. That is cool. Mentally, I was thinking this was the Poltergeist. It is not. That's cool though. I wish the card were better, but it is cool. I like the art. JP. JP is going to be some good stuff this set for sure. Leafeon. Love the art on the Leafeon. Beautiful heart. JP. We have an Arcanine with proud fangs. If your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on them, this attack does 90 more damage. For no energy, that's not too bad. Maybe in a Hisuian Arcanine EX deck, that could be good if Hisuian Arcanine EX ever were decent. Glamora. I really like Glamora. I know it's like kind of the butt of a lot of jokes this generation, but I do like Glamora. It's a Pokemon. I know, and that art's kind of cool too. Sorry guys, if I go quiet for a moment, it's probably because I had a cough. Yeah. You see, like, I don't know if your camera will pick it up. There's like a line on this pack, probably where the rollers got to it. Hopefully that doesn't impact the cards inside. Phantump, Slugma, Applin, Morpeko, Carmine, nice to have Carmine, Heracross, Phantump, Poliwag, and then Infernape is the holo for this pack. Infernape was interesting because we tested it with Rhydon EX from Temporal Forces, I believe was the set. And it did okay, at least against the other decks from Twilight Masquerade. Swirlix, Litwick, Poochyena, their Palafin, Handheld Fan, Diplin, Perrin, Halucha, and Wellspring Mask. Yay, that means I can bring Lugia up to date. A deck I never play, I can bring it up to date. I usually have an archive of like all the most recent or the most current decks that are doing okay in Standard. So Lugia is usually one of those just because typically Lugia pops in and out. And Lugia seems to be doing pretty well in Twilight Masquerade format in Japan, so I kind of expect it to do okay here. And Wellspring Mask Ogerpon is part of that. So having a copy of that, a copy of the card without having to buy it is nice, I will say. But that's not real. Timber, Aaron, Spitter, Sandshrew, Rillaboom, Laz Aid, Conkeldurr. One of my least favorite lines of Pokemon, by the way, is that line. And another Infernape. I'm gonna get a second Infernape before I get most of the interesting cards in the set. Say that, you know, but I do have hits. Sometimes you have to like sit back and remind yourself, it's like just because it's not the hits I want doesn't mean I didn't get hits. There is still that big element of randomness to opening packs in general, and I've always said, and I will continue to say, like, I open packs, yes, but I do this in this case because I got it for compensation. But I open packs mostly for entertainment, for entertaining you guys and have a little bit of fun. But never open packs with the intent to make money or to come away somehow advantaged over just having bought singles, because 99% of the time you're going to come out a loser. It's just how it works. Singles are basically always cheaper than buying sealed product. Unfortunately, that's just how, that's the nature of the Pokemon trading card game. There are so many cards in every set that it's very difficult to grab everything you need from the set. And even if you do get some pulls, like, you know, like I've gotten 3 pulls here technically, but like these are not Dragapult. I would be happy if all 3 of these were just like base rarity Dragapult. They're not. But at the same time, they're still pulls. So that's what it is. Speaking of Watchel, I love this card too. Really cool art. Really cool art. Enhanced Hammer makes a return. Clearly, Kilowattrel, also like Kilowattrel. And Okie Dokie, one of the lousy 3. I am not a fan of any of the lousy 3. Their cards are a mixed bag. but I just don't like them design-wise. So, meh. They are ugly. That's what it is. All right, Glimmer rather. Thwacky. Thwacky is a bit of a menace in pre-release. If you happen to get Thwacky in a pre-release kit, definitely use it. Ooh, Chimecho. And Ogerpon. All right. So we got ourselves a illustration rare, the Chimecho, and a hollow regular old Ogerpon. So Chimecho. My camera angles are always a little hard here. Yeah, Chimecho. I like the almost realistic look that this particular Chimecho has. It's pretty fun. All right, Emolga. Growlithe, Monferno, Nosepass, Probopass in the same pack. That's pretty cool. Scolipede, Diplin, Timber, and Chandler. Interesting. Chandler. I know a lot of people hate on Gen 5 because of like Chandler specifically, or Vanillix and Vanillite and stuff. It's like there are many more things to pick on other than them. I like Chandler. I think it's fine. I don't love the Vanillite line, but I don't think it deserves the hate it gets. Just whatever. It's just mid. It's not awful. Certainly no girder. Anyway. Our first special energy. Ooh, and our first ace spec. Oh, that's in the first reverse slot too. That's cool. Okay, so all the things. Our first ace spec for Twilight Masquerade is going to be Hyper Aroma. Hyper Aroma is an ace spec that lets you find 3 stage 1 Pokemon, which is pretty cool. We were using this in a deck that we learned later had been mistranslated, and that was actually my mistake too. So we were playing Mytiena, and Mytiena, the mistranslation was that the attack was supposed to do 90 more damage for each Mytiena on the bench. However, it turns out, and I confirmed this after going back to the Japanese site, it's not for each one, it's just if it's on the bench. So I don't know how that happened mistranslation-wise, but it is a mistranslation. So unfortunately, that deck does not exist. It's ironic, too, that the deck wasn't even good with that mistranslation. It just wasn't good, period. So I don't know what's up. It's just bad. And we have a regular Sinistcha to join that illustration rare, special illustration rare specifically. Sinistcha. I wish this card were better. It's seeing a little bit of play with the baby Sinistcha in the set, but it's still pretty fringe. Now we got Chimchar. Pinsir. Okay, so something needs to be pointed out because this was confusing somebody on my Discord server. So Pinsir's Slow Crunch says discard all energy from this Pokemon. At the end of the opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon will be knocked out. So people think, oh, that's just like a single prize version of Giratina. That's pretty good. It's not, though, because the defending Pokemon is not the Pokemon that's in the active spot. It's the Pokemon that received the attack, which means that, like any kind of effect, if the Pokemon that received that attack leaves the active spot in any way, so if it switches out, if it retreats, or even if it evolves, it doesn't have to necessarily leave in that respect. It can just evolve. Then that effect goes away and it doesn't get knocked out. So it's really, really, really easy to remove that effect. And you've just burned all your energy on that Heracross to make that effect try to happen. So unfortunately, the card is just not very good. Sorry to squash any dreams for people who thought maybe that card had a chance. It does not, sadly. I have Venipede, Aaron, and Shrew, Chansey. Another Tuskegee is always good to see. A Rigarath, Shinx, Varoom, and Heatran. Our Heatraners are hollow here. Incandescent body gives it a bit of a sponginess. It's hit by an attack. The defending Pokemon is burned. Extra damage. There's another one. I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't think you can. There's a line going down right here, right along the pack. So, say my camera sucks way too much for you to see most of the details that I want you to see, unfortunately. One of these days I will be able to afford a good camera. That day has not come. My salary as a teacher is not remotely good enough, unfortunately. Hopefully someday soon. Tangrowth, Pleasantipity, and a full art version of Iron Thorns EX. So Iron Thorns, kind of a fun card, seeing niche play here and there. There's kind of a quad build of Iron Thorns that people are playing in Japan that's seen a little bit of success here and there. The card's pretty cool. I like the initialization ability. It like shuts off the abilities of if it's in the active spot specifically, it shuts off it's basically Path to Peak if it's in the active, except it doesn't affect future Pokemon. So it says as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, Pokemon with a rule box, both yours and your opponent's, have no abilities except for future Pokemon. So Pokemon EX, Pokemon V, Radiant Pokemon, etc. have abilities or have Roblox. So, pardon. Yeah. Okay. Grookey, part of the Menace deck. One of those decks that could have been good, except Dragapult. Get your set. Whirlipede. Torkoal. Ooh, okay. A full art version of Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. So here we go here. Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. We tried it out in a few different ways. Has the ability Teal Dance. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic Grass Energy card from your hand to this Pokemon. If you attach any energy to a Pokemon in this way, draw a card. So it's okay. It's an okay ability, and it has an attack for 3 Grass Energy. Myriad Leaf Shower does 30 plus damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. That's not too bad. Attack cost is 3 Grass, but it's okay. I know a friend of mine wants to play this in conjunction with Raging Bolt for NAIC. I think maybe Sandy Shocks is just better, but hey, he wants to run it. Let's see what he does with it. Okay, we have enough Thwackey, Heliolisk, Ducklet, Emolga, Aggron, Clefable, Cook, a Dipplin, a Reverse Dipplin, specifically a Floet, and a Sinistcha. So this is the Sinistcha I was talking about earlier, the baby Sinistcha that pairs up with that illustration rare. So it has the attack Cursed Drop, but 4 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. And then the real cool thing it has, and I had translated this exactly the same way. The official translators and I made the same joke. Spill the tea, 70 times damage. Discard up to 3 Grass Energy cards from your Pokemon. This attack does 70 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So you can get a decent amount of damage, like what, 210 I think it is? Yeah, 210 off of an attack on this. It's not bad. It's 70 HP Pokemon, so it's pretty squishy, but I mean, it's not bad. Not bad for single energy. It is a stage 1, so there is that much, but we paired it up specifically with Teal Mask Ogerpon, actually, and it did okay. But yeah, there's just better to play, unfortunately. We have a little bit of a shift there. Nose Pass, Jinx, Palafin, Tatsugiri, Dipplin, Aaron, and Chandelier is going to be the holo rare for this pack too. Float, Sunkern, Abra, Skarmory, Jamming Tower, Glaceon, Sandslash, Helioptile, Glaceon, and Ting Lu. It was kind of a menace in pre-release. If you got it with the Infernate kit, you could start doing some real devastation with it. It does 30 damage, and it says, if a stadium is in play, this attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and then discard that stadium. So you could really devastate their side of the field. And then, because the kits all, pretty well not all, but a lot of the kits contained festival grounds and community center, there was likely a stadium card in play during pre-release. So you could squish and soften them up a bit. Applin, Snorant, Laren, Chimchar, Iron Bundle, Lucian, Darmanitan, Morpeko, Slugma, and the regular version of Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. So again, Teal Mask has that Teal Dance and Myriad Leaf Shower attack. So we're same as the full art. So pretty cool. Really unfortunate that the kind of Ogerpon-centric Teal Mask shenanigans deck didn't really come to be. But, oh well. Not everything gets to happen the way we want it to happen. No cool shenanigans with the mask switching. Just kind of a random effect that doesn't actually do anything. Illumise, Okie Dokie. And Heatran is the holo rare in this pack. Can you tell me something? What's wrong, Toph? Aaron, Sandshrew, Chansey, Tangela, Snorlax, Lana's Aid, Leafeon. Again, that Leafeon art is really good. It is Kudo Imari. And Teal Mask Ogerpon is our holo here. Not the EX, just a regular one, but it's a holo. And this perfect fit is not incorporating. If only there were a good way to accelerate grass energy in this format. And before you say, oh, Gardenia's Vigor exists, I said a good way. Drape, Feebas, Giraffrig. This is that Shinji Kanda artwork I talked about on my top 10 video for Twilight Masquerade. Very good art. Learned, according to one of the commenters on that video, apparently Shinji does everything in colored pencil and then melts it, which is really cool. And Zapdos is our holo rare. All right, so we have, how many packs we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I have 10 packs left. 10 packs left out of 36. Now, Froakie, Eevee, Phantom, Slugma, Enhanced Hammer, Kilowattrel, Glalie, Applin, Chimecho, and a Screamtail. Screamtail is not Dragapult. Screamtail has a Scream attack, which for a single colorless energy says you can use this attack only if you go second and only during your first turn. Your opponent can't play any supporter cards in their hand during their next turn. So if you go second, you get to kind of mess up their first chance at using a support card. Tadpole, Applin, another Grass Applin. Burst Mask, Probopass, Heracross, X, Reverse Chandelier, and then the regular Holo Chandelier. Chandelier really wanted to say hello. It's like, we're hearing that you don't hate us. That's cool. So far on the polls front for cards on the carousel, if you will. We have not hit any of them, unfortunately. And I don't think we can at this point hit Greninja. We've already pulled a special illustration rare from this box. I think generally you're maxed out at 1 in a box, if you get one at all. So that's unfortunate. More varietals. Did get my second A-Spec though, so that's cool. We have Okidogi. Okidogi has Adrena Power. If this Pokemon has any darkness energy attached to it, it gets 100 extra HP. And the attacks, it does do 100 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Before applying weakness and resistance, it has an attack that does 70 damage, or 170 if you have that boost on it, for 2 fighting energy. And Scoop Up Cyclone is one of the better A-Specs in this set. It's not Unfair Stamp, and I already have the older version of Scoop Up Cyclone, which is why it's not really one of my chases, because I already have it. But it's not a bad card. And Scoop Up Cyclone says, put one of your Pokemon and all attached cards into your hand. So you just get to kind of scoop it all up. Okay. Spinarak, the Goodest Boy, Poliwag, Apom. Accompanying includes Yearpuff, Milotic, Caretaker, Ninetales, and then Walking Wake is the holo in this pack. Walking Wake kind of just being the kind of creepy version of Suicune. Not one of my favorite Pokemon from this generation. Unfortunately, I didn't really care for any of like the Walking Wake, Raging Bolt kind of trio thing. This is how it is. Didn't like it. Gouging Fire, all of them not my favorites, to put it nicely. Here, Diplin has a festival lead. A new Cramorant. So now I collect Cramorant. Ooh, okay. We have an Infernape, but we don't care about Infernape. We care about Eevee. Love Eevee too. Don't collect Eevee, but I do like Eevee. This illustration rare is beautiful. That's cool. It's basically done. It's basically like an old cat lady's house, except it has a bunch of Eevee in it instead. I feel like if I were a Pokemon collector, like in a real world, if I were in the Pokemon world, and it were the real world, I would be one of those people that just has like a trillion Eevee, and that would be fine. Yeah. Eevee, and also I would have Oddish or two. It's weird because I like Oddish and I like Blossom, but I don't really care for Gloom or Vileplume. Oh well. Okay. Venison, Caretaker, Glimmet, Infernape, Lampent, Urine, Sunflora. Only my second Boomerang energy in the whole box, which is kind of wild. We have Venison and Greninja EX. It's not the illustration rare art, but you know I like it anyway. We were originally supposed to test I'm actually talking about Mytiana earlier. We were originally supposed to test that Mytiana again. It was supposed to get its second run. It's revisit. Because it was the very first deck we tested for the second half of Twilight Masquerade's testing. It was supposed to do that first video and then come back at the end to wrap up its last video. But instead, I think we're going to look at a Greninja Frostlass build. So a deck that runs both Greninja and Frostlass, and see how that does. Because Greninja kind of did okay on its own. Frostlass did kind of okay on its own. But I wonder how they'll do together. Because Greninja obviously doesn't have an ability, but it has consistency in the means of searching a card out of your deck every time you attack with Shinobi Blade. Shinobi Blade does 170 damage, which is pretty good. So I think Greninja is something we'll visit again instead of. Well, I mean, we're obviously not going to go back to Mytiana now that we know that it's a translation error, but. Mistakes happen, unfortunately. I am not immune. I saw Flora and stuck it in fire. So yes, mistakes happen. Growlithe and Iron Leaves. With Recovering Net, put 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. Okay. Sure. Down to 3 packs. 3 packs left. I did also order my normal 3 boxes for this set. So at some point, I'll have to open my normal set, or my normal packs, or normal boxes rather, for the set. Probably do that, hopefully right before NAIC. Okay, so here's the card we were talking about earlier. It was unfortunately mistranslated. So Hunting Pack does 30 damage. And this says, if my Tiana is on your bench, this deck does 90 more damage. I don't know how, but somehow I screwed it up and put it does 90 more damage for each my Tiana on your bench. As I said, I went back to the Japanese site, saw it. That's not at all what it says. Don't know how I got that, but it is what it is. Errors happen. This means my Tiana is even more boring than I thought. Because even with, like I said earlier, even with that error, the card's still not good. Hey, it's the Full Art Perrin. Not my chase card, but I still like the card. I still like the art. Now, Saito is awesome, and this is very clearly one of their arts. They are also, if I'm not mistaken, the very same artist that did the beautiful Lily from Ultra Prism, the card that I will forever lament not picking up for $30 when it was $30. Because I thought, oh, I can't justify that. It's too expensive. And then it proceeded to shoot up to $90 in like a day. And then it has since gotten even more expensive, like significantly more expensive. So, boo. Take one of my favorite full arts ever, and I didn't grab it when I had the chance. So, oh well. I was pass, Seeking, Stunkern, Abra, Festival Grounds, Lorgus, Bellywolts, Leafeon, the Fairy, and our first, Frostlass. Frostlass has been missing in action. It's like everybody else wants to come out to play, but not Frostlass. We've had like, what, 3 or 4 of the Chandelier? Frostlass with Freezing Shroud. During Pokemon Checkup, put 1 damage counter on each Pokemon that has an ability, both yours and your opponent's, except any Frostlass. This card's really good in pre-release, and it's pretty decent even in like the regular game. Check out the bonus video that I'm putting out on Wednesday that we recorded when I was a little bit in better health. A little bit better, not great. We were all sniffling a little bit. But it went up against Festival Grounds, actually. And you'll get to see how that played out. It was kind of a fun game. So, this is our last pack, so let's see how we go. Yeah, the Snorunt, perfect for that particular Frostlass there. They have a Chimecho, a Chimchar, a Whirlipede, Hassel, Poliwrath, Scolipede, Mytiana. Okay. A very sneaky gold card. This is the Blood Moon Ursaluna EX gold. And then a Sinistcha Hollow. I must confess I did not expect to pull a gold after pulling the illustration rare. But here we are. This is also one of the best cards in the set. I think at number 2 overall on my top 10 list. If you haven't watched that, you should go back and watch the list. But yeah, Blood Moon Ursaluna. I prefer base ready when I'm playing most of the time, but if this is what I got when I play a Blood Moon Ursaluna, this is what I got. So let's review the hits once I get this guy slated up, and we'll see how I did overall. All right, for the A specs, I pulled both a Scoop Cyclone and a Hyper Aroma. I pulled a Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, a Full Art Perrin, which is pretty cool. The illustration rare for Eevee. The full art version of Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. The full art version of Iron Thorns EX. The illustration rare version of Chimecho. The special illustration rare version of Sinistcha EX. The gold version of Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. The regular version of Greninja EX. The regular version of Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. The regular version of Screamtail EX. The regular version of Sinistcha EX. And then finally, that regular old version of Luxray EX. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being patient with me as I had to repeatedly mute the microphone so you guys did not have to hear me coughing my lungs out. Hopefully we'll be back to the normally scheduled content for Eternal Monday next Monday. We'll get to see a few of the cards in the Eternal format and their, or rather not in the Eternal format, and why they're banned in the Eternal format, so you can kind of understand a little bit more what goes into the Eternal format's ban making or ban decision making process. But as I said, also keep an eye out on Wednesday for the bonus video there, where Frostlass is going to take on Festival Grounds. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.